Dragons Rising has been around for almost 3 years now, and it has given us a lot of new villains in that time. But which one of these villains is the best? Okay, that's a bit of a dumb question. We all know who the best villain of Dragons Rising is. But what about the rest? How do they rank? Let's get right into it. Also, consider subscribing if you enjoy. Thank you! All the way at the bottom of the D tier, we have Tyr, for obvious reasons. The Dragonians in general are weak as villains, but Tyr, being the leader, could have at least had some kind of personality, or I don't know, look different from the rest. He doesn't talk at all, so yeah, there's not much else to say. Next up, we have Dorama. Look, don't get me wrong, his voice actor does a great job. But after season 1, he just comes back for no reason, and let's be honest, he's a very annoying character. His motivation is also incredibly dumb. He wants to be the best showman in the world. Okay, but why be a villain though? And while we're on the topic of annoying characters, we have the ultimate object of admiration, Powerlid. Every time this guy opens his mouth, I'm amazed at how useless he is as a villain. As you've probably noticed already, I don't like dumb villains whose purpose is purely comic relief. Don't believe me? Well, rounding up the D tier, we have Rapton. He's at the top of the D tier because of his small redemption at the end of season 1. He could have been C tier if that was the last we saw of him. But then he kept coming back again and again, and he just gets more annoying each time. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but every time he appears, it feels like wasted screen time. Now, starting off the C tier, we have Dr. Larow. She doesn't do much, but at least she has a role, fulfills it, and leaves when her part in the story is over. For me, she fits perfectly here. Same thing with Jordana. She can get a bit irritating, but she has a clear personality, stays consistent with it, and actually serves a purpose in the story. And again, she disappears once the story no longer needs her. Next we have Bleckt. He isn't a bad character, but the reason he's this low is because of how stupid his motivation is. He teams up with Raz purely because he finds his nephew annoying, and since we're ranking villains, he just isn't complex enough to go any higher. Moving into the B tier, we have Zeatrix. She's a pretty good villain overall, and her fight with Lloyd was great, but she's basically just a weaker version of her sister, which is why she sits at the bottom of the B tier. Speaking of her sister, next up is Empress Beatrix. She's the main villain of season 1, but honestly, she's not that great. She's your standard evil ruler. I did enjoy her backstory and how she dealt with her family to rise to power, but as a main villain, she's still pretty underwhelming. Next we have two members of the Forbidden Five, Kur and Zarkt. I'm putting them together because they suffer from the same problem. Not enough screen time or lines to be truly compelling. I put Zarkt slightly higher because of his fight at the end of season 3 part 2 with Nia. At the top of the B tier is Rox. She's one of the most disappointing Forbidden Five. We never see her elemental power, she's incredibly arrogant, and the whole scene with Aragorn in Ninjago showed how incompetent she can be. The only reason she's this high is because the Forbidden Five as a group actually felt like a threat for a while. Now for the A tier villains, the ones I really enjoyed. Starting off we have Cinder. Hear me out. I was hyped when we first saw him, a new elemental master of smoke. I'm a big fan of Ash, and Cinder delivered. He was very strong in season 2 part 1. It's true his personality fell off in part 2, but he still had some moments in the Tournament of the Sources. Next is Drix, the master of Swarm. He only has a few lines in season 3, but his design and the way he absolutely destroyed the ninja in part 1 was amazing. His element is also very interesting, and he has a ton of presence whenever he's on screen. I might be biased, but definitely top of the A tier for me. Now for the S tier villains. The best of the best in Dragons Rising. Starting off we have Nokt, the last of the Forbidden Five. He was great in season 2 and stayed consistent in season 3. His personality, voice and charisma were all on point. A very intimidating villain, and I loved his introduction in season 2. In third place we have Thunderfang. He's a great villain but a bit wasted overall. The reason he makes it this high is because he feels like a massive threat lurking in the background even though it never fully pays off. He has mastermind energy, incredible lore and a great presence. Coming in second place we have Lee. I'm honestly surprised I'm ranking him this high, but after rewatching season 3 he's one of the most developed villains in Dragons Rising. He has a rich backstory, a real motive and a very interesting ability that allows him to create copies of himself. I still don't love the musical bit, but everything else about him works. And in first place, the villain who deserves a tier of his own, Lord Raz. He's basically carrying the entire show at this point. Every time he's on screen, he delivers. His voice, his fights, his mysterious backstory and master, everything is Jeff's kiss. Before ending, I thought the list would be incomplete without ranking the villain factions, since Ninjago is known for its big villain groups. I'm placing them all in D tier because they're more or less on the same level, so this is just the order. In last place we have the Wolfclan Warriors. They appear out of nowhere and have zero personality. They seem interesting thanks to the Shadowspin comic, but in the show, not really. Next we have the Imperium Guards. They're also generic, but they at least show a bit more personality. And in second and first place we have the Dragonians and Spectral Dragonians. Sure, they don't talk, but they actually feel threatening, especially the Spectral ones. Anyway, if you want to see me rank the Forbidden 5 alone, click the video on screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.